Hey, this ThinkerThunker. How do you hunt down and film a master of camouflage that can probably smell and hear humans coming from a mile away? And the answer is you don't. That's impossible, or all but. My proof is it's happened like one time in 57 years. I mean, billion-dollar TV networks with million-dollar budgets have been out there trying for decades to find and film a Bigfoot. One time, they can't do it and are probably only making matters worse. So maybe it's time, after half a century of failure, to try something new. Something that's already been working and could finally allow us to actually study and track forest giant movement and learn something about them. And that is what my new channel, The Whoop Project, is all about. And I've already had my first encounter submission. This poor family claims they were terrorized on vacation in Montana. I go through that report. But the question is, did they record proof of that encounter in this video? Go check it out. It's there waiting for you now. And if you are hearing vocalizations like this or this, then gear up, get out there, record it, then submit your encounter to the Whoop Project. And for today's video, Bigfoot TV shows and squatchers, man, they are gadget crazy, and FLIR is that gadget of choice, hailed as the big breakthrough technology that was going to prove to the world that Bigfoot exists. Did it work? Let's check it out. Okay, this is called the Brown Footage. It's on Bigfoot Stacy's channel on YouTube. Come give her a subscribe and a like. Let's have a look. Now back here, we can see something, a dark shape behind the trees. Keep watching. That's it. So there you go, world. Did this footage convince you that Bigfoot is real, or that we are looking at a Bigfoot back there right now? I'm guessing the answer is no, because we can't see any good hard edges. We can't see any detail at all. You know, all we get is this silhouetted shape. And sure, this video was posted 12 years ago, so it's much older FLIR technology. But still, even with new FLIR cameras, they still can't see through trees or brush. So if you're out somewhere, you have to wait until something steps out into a clearing and you just happen to be pointing your FLIR camera at it. That's it. But the good news here with the Brown FLIR Bigfoot footage is that the mystery figure was walking, and two, is walking perpendicular to the camera, which allows us to see its torso and its limbs, and we can also see a knee. And common sense tells us if we can see a knee and at least a torso, then we can use a human 3D skeleton posed this very same way to reverse engineer to try to get a sense of the proportions of this thing. Then we could know if it's a human or something else. First step, I imported that image into a 3D program, and I've got a human 3D skeleton here that I've tried to pose as closely as I could to make the skeleton fit within the green outline, and I've had to rescale the length of some of the bones, like this arm still needs to be reshaped a little, something about like that. And if we look at that pose, it would look something like that. Now that we've got a skeleton roughed into place, we can see roughly where the major body joints are. So I'm going to measure from the tip of the tailbone to the base of the neck, and then go get the upper arm, forearm, thigh bone, and shin, something about like that. All right, so here we go. Place your bets time. Does the Brown FLIR mystery creature have human body proportions or not? And to determine that, make that easier to see, I took its body measurements and put them over here in the right. And column 1's got the torso. Column 3 over here's got the legs. And remember, I didn't get a good look at its arms, so we're not using its arms. That's okay. So for this thing to be human, its legs over here need to be 30% longer than its torso. Would you say they are? I would say no, there's a problem with that. Its legs are, in fact, shorter than its torso. And if I bring this out right here, that's what human proportions look like. Every normal, typical adult human on the planet, male or female, has a torso and arms the same relative length, but our legs are an astounding 30% longer. So there is no way in the world that this thing could be a human. Now, for you naysayers who are thinking, maybe I mismeasured this thing, maybe I was off here, there on the measurements. Well, first off, in a previous career, I was an expert in high precision measurements. So I'm pretty good with measurements, but okay, I'll play along. Let's switch this skeleton back to human proportions. And so I'll start by shrinking its torso back down. How about that? Now the arms are about 20% too long. So I'll get those back within the human realm. And now the legs are about 10% too short. So I'll make those longer. Something about like that. So look, there is no way to make a human skeleton fit. And I'm not talking just a little off here or there. It is profoundly off, like say 30%. And so if I try to scale this guy up like that so that it does fit a little better within the green lines, first, look at the arms, like 20% too short. And look where its hip is, way, way up there. The hip would need to come way down, which makes the legs like not a little too long, but profoundly too long. Are you getting it now? There is no way in the world to make a human skeleton fit within the shape of the Brown FLIR mystery creature. Now, here's the amazing part to this. If I bring this over here, now we have green team, which represents the body measurements taken directly from the Patterson Bigfoot. And amazingly, we see that Patty has a torso and arms and legs all the same relative length. Now, look at the Brown FLIR mystery creature. It has a torso that lines up perfectly with Patty's. Now, its legs are a little shorter. Could I have been off, say, 1 to 2% on my leg measurements or torso measurements when measuring the brown creature here? Yeah, I could be off 1 to 3% margin of error, and it would still match up perfectly with Patty here. And neither of them have body proportions even remotely close to us humans. Okay, last two things I want to show you. So our Brown FLIR mystery creature here, we get to see it take one step and then it's gone. But watch that right knee there. It's like it's going to knee somebody. Look how high up that knee thrust. Boom. And when it does, look at that trailing shin. It comes up all but parallel with the ground. Now that goes back to the first video I ever made over a decade ago called 21 Degrees Between Bigfoot and You, where I show you this very thing. I show you how we're seeing body mechanics that we humans not only don't we do, but we can't do. We can't walk this way and make it look as natural as they do. And if I drop in the Patterson Bigfoot, look, Patty has the exact same body mechanics. We humans, we don't walk that way. That is as high up as a human's trailing shin gets right there. Now, skeptics love to say, well, Patty walks that way because there's high brush or rocks or something she's having to lift her feet up over. It's a dry riverbed. It's sand. That's just their body mechanics versus ours. Okay, last thing I'm going to show you, again, in my first book, How to Find and Film Bigfoot, there's a section that I called The Men Who Lean When They Run. It's a reference to an early Native American term for forest giants because they recognize that this species leans their torso unusually far when they walk or run. And if I drop in the Patterson Bigfoot, we see Patty has that exact same torso lean. And now, if we look at a human, we humans walk and run with our torsos perfectly upright. So yet again, we're seeing body mechanics entirely different from our own. So now I've shown you the torso lean, the trailing shin rise, and also body proportions. All three radically different from us humans. If I had a PhD, I would be rewarded for these finds. But also, if I had a PhD next to my name, I would have never made these discoveries because there is no money in proving that forest giants, Bigfoot, is real. There might be someday, but right now there's not. The only way I get to fund my research is from my patrons and my YouTube members paying $1 a month. So thank you guys so very much. All right, everybody, that is all I've got. I think the FLIR footage, if you spend the time looking, there is an amazing amount of information that was right there, right in front of our eyes all along. You just have to spend the time looking for it and then recognize it when you see it. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks for watching. Go check out my new channel, The Whoop Project. I've got a new video there waiting for you. Check it out. See what you think. I think you're going to like the direction I'm taking all this. All right, everybody, take care.